This channel is for adults and not for kids. Hey guys, thanks for stopping back by. So today I am doing horror movies from the 1980s, and I thought I would show you guys what I was watching today. It's only 4 films, but yeah, I was doing a 1980s horror movie trip. You know what's funny is the way people nowadays think that life was like in the 1980s. I think people born from like 2000 on, I think they think that like the 80s was nothing but acid wash jeans, big hair, and pink and blue neon lights everywhere. That TV show Stranger Things, they get it right sometimes, but even they get it screwed up sometimes, where it's just so much 80s crammed into a frame, and it wasn't really like that. I mean, the first half of the 80s there was a lot of leftover stuff from the 70s still. But then again, I guess that's just the way it is, because I have an older brother who was a kid in the 1960s, and I was a little kid in the 1970s. And when I would ask him questions about the 60s, he would always get mad at me, because I always assumed that the 1960s, the whole thing was nothing but, fucking hippies. And he would get mad and say, that the 60s was a lot like the 1950s. All that hippie shit didn't really start up towards the end of the decade. But that's pretty much what you associate it with, is the whole flower child piece bullshit of the hippies. That's what you just sort of assume all of the 60s was like. So I guess I can understand why people nowadays think that the 80s was nothing but Pizza Hut restaurants and acid wash jean jackets, and big hair, and neon green bathing suits, all that stuff. Anyway, I went to the 80s today with these horror films. I thought I would tell you guys about it. First up, Target did it to me again. I went there looking to get Thor some dog treats, and damn it if they didn't have another cool monster toy. It is the new little Vampira figure by Neca. Part of those Toonie Terrors that they do. Man, I swore to God I wasn't going to start collecting these things. Her little tiny waist. She was really into that shit too, that whole body manipulation thing, where you force your guts to rearrange themselves by, forcing yourself to have such a tiny little waist. She really had a super tiny waist. I think this toy has more ass than the real Vampira did. But I mean, she was curvy. I don't know if she was that curvy though. I think she was built more like Morticia from the Addams Family. They did a good job on her likeness on her head. So I'm curious now. They have the Vampira license. That means they might make a honest to God Vampira action figure. That would be cool. I would probably pick up several of them just for customizing. You could turn her into a whole bunch of like Brides of Dracula, whole lot of vampire chicks. I mean, I would like one to have of her, but the customizing possibilities would be nuts for a cool shape like that. Look at the bottom of her dress. Isn't that cool? And of course, like the other packages, you cut out the back of the package for a little diorama, a little display. That's kind of cool. She comes with this little cartoony skull, which reminds me of Oingo Boingo. That sort of smiley Day of the Dead, like Mexican horror. Sugar Skulls. Kind of has that look to it. I was just listening to Oingo Boingo the other day, too. Oh, that Danny Elfman is super talented. Yeah, it's weird. Not a lot. I don't hear a lot of people talk about Oingo Boingo. I knew them back when they were the Knights of the Mystic Oingo Boingo. So that's way back. Anyway, that's a cool vampire figure. And what I was trying to say is, so they have the Vampira license as one of those Toonie Terrors that could lead them to making an 8-inch figure. And the way that or a 7-inch figure. And the reason why I say that is they first got the likeness rights for the Toonie Terrors Vincent Price. And then lo and behold, at Toy Fair, they unveiled a 7-inch tall Vincent Price action figure with 3 different heads for 3 different looks during his career. And I can't wait for that figure. That's amazing. I would buy a whole line of action figures of like horror icons, but just like dressed, in suits or whatever. I would dig that. Like Vincent Price, it's not like he's a specific character in that action figure. It's pretty much just Vincent Price in a really nice suit. I would buy one of Peter Cushing. I would buy one of Christopher Lee. They have the Hammer license, so there's no reason why they couldn't make those. But I'm fan theorying now, so let me get back to the movies. Okay. So, this is an awesome movie. I went to the movie theaters and saw this when it first came out in 1988. This is Pumpkinhead, starring Lance Henriksen, with an amazing looking monster. Pumpkinhead is just a beautiful, hideous looking monster. It's so awesome. And this was Stan Winston's directorial debut, 1988. I remember seeing promo ads for this movie back when it was called Vengeance the Demon, which pretty much fits the movie better than Pumpkinhead. Because it is the demon of vengeance. It's when you want to get revenge, you call forth that demon. And it kills whoever you want it to kill, but then it exacts a horrible price. The way that revenge does. I think Vengeance the Demon would have been a better name, but I don't know, probably some studio head didn't like it. Anyway, Pumpkinhead is an amazing movie. It's very cool, very fun. Lance Henriksen is acting his ass off in this thing. It's got a super cool looking monster. A bunch of asshole city kids kill off Lance Henriksen's kid. And he calls forth, he gets the help of this witch that lives in a graveyard. She lives in a shack, next to a little graveyard cemetery where there's like a big pumpkin patch. And she tries to warn you, Ed Harley, not to call forth this monster, but he goes ahead and does it. Did you think it'd be quick? Painless. That's an awesome looking witch in that movie too. She looks like she's about 900 years old. Just amazing makeup all around. This is an awesome movie. Highly, highly recommend this one. Pumpkinhead. You know what? This movie also has, I don't know the actor's name, but Superman the movie. That little section where he's a teenager, basically Superboy, and he's outrunning the train, and then he goes off into the Arctic to the Fortress of Solitude. The guy that plays that young Clark Kent Superboy. He's one of the kids in this thing that gets killed off. He was wearing a wig in the Superman movie, a black Clark Kent wig, but he's got like really curly blonde hair. You see what he really looks like in this movie. But yeah, he's in this too. I don't know dude's name, but that's how I know him, as that guy that played Superboy. Next up, this is a fun one. This is Fright Night. Fright Night. This is a whole mess of fun. This is great 80's monster makeup, practical effects. Chris Sarandon is Jerry Dandridge, the vampire next door. You've got Roddy McDowall, which plays an aging, down on his luck horror movie host who has to conquer his personal demons and come to the rescue of young Charlie Brewster. You're so cool, Brewster. You have Evil Ed, which I was basically Evil Ed in my teenage years. This is misfit, outcast, punk music, goth music, horror movie, monster-loving kid in my own world. I identified big time with Evil Ed when this movie came out. I loved this movie. So much fun. The monster effects looked really cool. All the vampire makeup looks amazing. You guys all know that scene where Jerry turns into this giant like bat from hell. It looks kind of like its face kind of looks a little bit like the terror dog from Ghostbusters, except it doesn't have horns. It's a bat, but like its mouth and its teeth sort of look like the terror dog. Oh, it's nasty looking, so cool. And then Evil Ed is transforming into a wolf, and he gets stuck in this in-between stage, so he looks like a werewolf. What else? There's a dude that sort of like Jerry's version of Renfield. This guy is like the vampire's helper. And there's a scene where he like completely melts on the stairs. And goddamn if those effects don't look amazing. He's just like screaming, and he's looking at his hand and it's falling apart, and his face is falling apart, and he's melting, and all this green goo, all this slimy shit is falling everywhere. Oh, it's glorious. Glorious to behold. And Roddy McDowall, he's amazing in it. This movie is just so much fun. I even like the sequel a little bit. The chick that plays Jerry's sister is gorgeous in Fright Night Part 2. But it's just sort of a rehashing of this movie. This movie I love. Fright Night Part 2 is a movie I like. Like, it's okay. This is great. That one, it's all right. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about the remake bullshit. That's remake bullshit. Monster Squad from 1987. This is a load of fun. They would never make this movie nowadays. The kids act too much like real kids. They would never do that nowadays. The monsters look cool. All the Universal monsters with these updated designs. The creature from the Black Lagoon in this movie looks amazing. The mummy looks incredible. They must have got a guy that weighed 35 pounds. He's so skinny. This is probably the best looking movie mummy ever, I would think. It's just this desiccated, super skinny, basically a skeleton wrapped up. It looks so good. And like I said, the Gill Man looks amazing. Dracula is cool. The Wolfman is cool. Even Frankenstein looks awesome. This is just a fun movie. This was Fred Decker directed this. This is a good time. I have to upgrade this one to Blu-ray. This is a really cool movie. I saw this one in the theaters too. Yeah, 1987. So I was 17 when this came out, and I went and saw this. So good. That was 1987. This last one, this came out a year earlier. This was from 1986. Same director as the Monster Squad. Was Night of the Creeps. Oh, so much fun. I have to upgrade this one to Blu-ray too. This movie's amazing. It's just so much fun. Tom Atkins stars as this burned out detective. These two dorks find out about an alien invasion of these long, black, rubbery looking slugs that get inside you, and then they control you. So you're walking around like a zombie with these little monster slugs inside controlling you. And while they're inside you, they're breeding more of them. So, you know, you'll get infected by one, but then when you explode, you know, a couple hundred of them might come out of you because they're incubating inside you while they're controlling you like a giant meat puppet. So yeah, it's basically a zombie movie, but when the zombies rip open, you've got these crazy black slugs running everywhere. Black slugs from another planet. There's Tom Atkins. Yeah, this is a really fun movie. I don't hear a lot of people talk about this movie, but it's really good. It's a lot of fun. So those are 4 1980s horror movies that I am checking out. I've already watched 2 of them. I've watched Pumpkinhead and Fright Night. Now I have to watch the 2 Decker monster movies. Anyway, I was just saying hi, seeing what you guys was up to. Wanted to show off that Vampira and wanted to talk to you about those films. All right, guys, I will check in with you later. Hope everything's going good for you. Watch some monster movies, watch some 80s films, and I'll be back soon. Happy Halloween.